all diets don't work because, everybody goes on this mass diet plan of whatever, and these diet pills. Yeah, it works for the moment, but it's not actually teaching you how to eat properly. And the reason why we are yo-yoing. And no one should be heavy at all. No one should be heavy. If you're doing and they're eating the way you're supposed to eat, we shouldn't be heavy. But it's because of the hidden chemicals, the hidden things in our food that no one has a clue about, that is what is causing these problems with our health and disease, diabetes, cancer, all of these things, even to, just you may be healthy, but you just cannot lose that weight. There is key factors, and there's a reason why. So I started my journey on that, and I had to fix myself, and then I started having this passion, and I was like, you know what, this is something people need to know about. And so I put myself through school and became a certified nutritionist. And it's become a passion of mine to teach people there is a way that you can do it once and for all and keep it off without the yo-yoing and spending all this ridiculous amount. I mean, if I counted all the money I spent on diet stuff, diet pills, diet programs, I mean, I could probably be a millionaire by now. I mean, and most of us could. Because, I mean, it just, that is just something, especially women, we are so, we always want to look nice, for our husbands, our boyfriends, or just for ourselves. That is just that's the way we're made up, to care about how we look inside and feel. Because when we're happy, we don't feel so good sometimes. And it's depressing, and it causes all kinds of depression, and all other types of things. So I'm going to give you information that hopefully will help you. There's people who work out at the gym, and I see it all the time. They're working out, every day, 7 days a week, but they're staying at the same size. Why is that? There's reasons why that. And I'm going to go into those too, because that is a big factor too. You may, like I said, healthy, but it's like that weight can't get off no matter what you do. There's a factor in that. So we are going to start out. I'm going to start out with proper food combining chart, which is this one right here. Most people do not understand we combine our foods the wrong way. And we're combining, I guess maybe perhaps we were taught, from generation to generation, we need these 3 big course meals, for dinner, for, lunch, and breakfast. The problem is our digestive system is on a time clock. So in the morning time, the first thing that should be going into your body is a piece of fruit before you do anything, because that is a water that gets your organs going, gets your metabolism going first thing in the morning. Now, 30 minutes later, if you want eggs or something, that's perfectly fine. But the first thing that should be going into your body is a piece of fruit, just to get your organs and everything moving first thing in the morning, because our bodies are made up of 95% water. So fruit, citrus fruit especially, is water to our organs. So that is extremely important when you are, when the first thing that you should do. If you do like eggs, that's okay, but do not combine them. Fruit should be eaten by itself. Always should be eaten by itself. And that's because of perhaps the citrusiness in it can neutralize your stomach acid, and then you can't, if you're eating eggs, well, that's a protein, you can't digest that. So it kind of just neutralizes to where it can't break down properly. So the next thing is your lunch between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. That's when your digestive system is working its hardest. So your biggest meal of the day should be your lunch. And that is because that's when you are, you're the most active. Your digestive system is working like crazy during that time. Dinner time, this is where we're running into the problem, is everybody has their biggest meal at dinner time. And they're eating breads, starches, with their protein, and of course their complex carb, which is, their vegetables. So here's how not many people know how your digestive system works. So what you have, you put in a carb, a starch, a protein, and complex carbs. So first thing that's going to digest, and mind you, around 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, our digestive system is pretty much gone to sleep, is what I say. It's gone to sleep. 8 o'clock, you should not be eating anything after 8 o'clock because your digestive system kind of just not doing anything. So everything that's sitting there is just going to turn into a sugar, and that's what we run into, is everything is, with our lives so busy, and we have families, we're at soccer games, we're at baseball, football, whatever. We're not even getting home till after 8 o'clock. And I know it's kind of sometimes hard to do that, especially with children and with all the events and everything that you have going on. But if you can keep it in your mind to try to, as much as possible, not eat after 8 o'clock. So what happens is, going back to how your digestive system works, is when the first thing that's going to digest in your body is the complex carb, so which is your vegetable. So that's going to be the first thing that is being digested. And then you're going to go to your starches and everything after that. Now, protein is the hardest to break down, so it's going to be the last. And what it's going to do is kind of just sit there because all this other stuff has to be digested. That's where people run into digestive disorders, digestive disease, Crohn's and all of those type, irritable bowel syndrome, all of those, leaky gut. That's where you start running into that problem because it's not digesting like it's supposed to. So you are running into problems with that. So you can see here that I have a chart here, like protein, it says poor, it shows the poor. So where do you guys starch is over here. Vegetables are okay to eat with the protein. So normally, and this is how I do it, I eat my biggest meal at lunch. Dinner time is, if you're eating meat, it should be a small amount of meat. Preferably chicken. Red meat's really hard to digest, but if you have red meat, try to stick to a leaner red meat and not every night. Perhaps maybe once or twice a night or out of the week. So because red meat is really hard on your stomach, but you need the protein as well. And it does have a few benefits in it as well with red meat. So it's like, kind of one of those, so you kind of want to keep it limited to red meat, more chicken, turkey, your white meats, that sort of thing, easier to digest in your digestive system. So at dinner time, it's a little bit of meat, a vegetable. That's it for dinner time. So have 6 meals a day. Eat 6 small meals a day. I mean, and you will not go hungry all day long. So if you're eating almonds, let's say for a snack in the morning, you eat fruit. I have nut butter and an apple every day in the afternoon, between like at 3 o'clock. And that is, not only apples are, they help detox your body, but you have the nut butter, and I make my own nut butter. It takes 5 minutes to make it, super easy to make. I do want to do a cooking class one time, to show everybody how simple it is to make your own food without the processed food, and it will go a lot longer with your families and stuff too. But you're not getting the processed junk that goes in with buying store-bought processed stuff. So, because they do put chemicals in there. Even though they say natural, a lot of them are chemicals. So, this kind of just gives you a guideline on how to properly combine your food. I do want to go into a few of the diseases and a few of the things that are going on in our foods that no one really knows about. And I'm going to start with the gluten intolerance and glyphosate. Glyphosate is basically, if you want to look at it, it's basically Roundup that they have created, Monsanto has created, and basically they put Roundup ready seeds into fruits and vegetables, especially corn. I will give you a list of all of those vegetables and fruits that have specifically those genes in there. We'll go into that in just a minute. But these are very, very hard on the gut. And they have now been, the scientists have shown that it is causing disease and cancer and everything else in our bodies. That's why cancer is on such a rise, disease is on such a rise. These are part of the problem right here. And so what I say to that, most people do have a gluten intolerance, and Lori will be talking about that. I'm going to have her stand up and give her testimony of where she was before and where she is now. And this is health, her health. She came to me for her health more than anything because, what did you say? I just felt like loaded roadkill.
Exactly.
So read these articles. These are fantastic articles. This will guide you into looking deeper into what is going on. Gluten is extreme. Our bodies cannot break down the gluten that they have created. So basically, 40 years ago, when we had gluten in bread, it is not like it is now because they genetically modified the gluten. Our bodies reject it. That's why we have so many people with constipation problems, again, digestive problems. And if you have a bad digestive, that is the gateway to all disease. If you have a messed up digestive system and a liver, those are the gateways to most of your diseases because you cannot, it sits there and it turns into toxins, and so it goes to other parts of your body because it can't filter, if you've got a clogged up liver, it can't filter anything. And if you've never detoxed before, and I'll go into that, 9 times out of 10, you do have some sort of blockage of a liver, and that's just because you haven't done it, and so the toxins, our environment is making us so toxic, and those are extremely important to understand. And I had to learn this myself. I mean, I was battling, my husband had ulcerative colitis, and, we tried everything with him, but you didn't hear the doctor say get off gluten. Well, after doing much research and learning about all of this, it was, he had to get off the gluten. And as soon as he got off the gluten, his face cleared up, his eczema cleared up. He had psoriasis, he had everything going on in his body that was caused by the gluten. So we have people that have ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, celiac. Those are gluten intolerance, and or if you're constipated, those things are gluten intolerances. The next thing I'm going to go over is GMO. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about. The glyphosate is the ready Roundup. So the GMO, what is GMO? GMO is it's basically a genetically modified organism. It's plant or animal created through gene splicing. So they created in a lab, and now we have these seeds. Let's say, for instance, waterless or seedless watermelon. That is a genetically modified fruit, because naturally your fruit, your watermelon, comes with seeds, and they have created a seedless watermelon, and by genetically modifying it. Well, when they created these things, they didn't have any scientific anything until now, when it's coming out that all these diseases and stuff, they'll say it's not that, but it is, because there's many, many scientists that are showing that it is. I'll give you, for instance, that the reason the FDA approved this, but the same company that, I don't know if you ever heard of Agent Orange, and our Vietnam veterans are now facing, and their children are facing, all the diseases that went along with Agent Orange that was sprayed over there when they were over there fighting for our country over there. They are now, cancer. My own father, my stepfather, is dealing with this. He has Agent Orange. But our government had approved, and the FDA had approved the Agent Orange for them over there. So they're the same ones that approved Monsanto to do GMO. So how they thought it was good back then, so how is it good for us now? Literally, it's Roundup. So that's like you going out and just taking a mouthful of Roundup, ready Roundup, and putting it in, spraying it on your fruits and vegetables. You're fine with that, but it's okay. So that's where all of these things didn't make sense. That's where I started researching, going, how can this be? This doesn't make sense that they would say it's okay for us, but yet, you look at Roundup label, the warning label on there, you should not, you call poison control if you take that in. So here's another article that you can read up on GMOs. I'm a huge advocate. It's called the March Against Monsanto every year, twice a year, up in Ann Arbor and all over the world. Most of your countries have GMOs not allowed in their country, because they know. So if you look up and research all the countries that have banned GMO foods, you will see most of the countries have, except for us, of course. So these are just simple things that when you go to the store, you're aware of, that you would probably want to go more organic on and buy organic. And I know everybody questions organic or not, or the local farmer markets. Most of them are not GMO. Most of your little local farmers here, you can ask them. But I would probably feel safer eating from a local farmer market than I would going to Myers or Walmart and buying conventional. It's conventional versus organic. And 9 times out of 10, you're getting GMO fruits and vegetables. So that's just something to be aware of when you're out shopping. If you can possibly get organic, is the better way to go, if you possibly can. Now, we're going to go into a little bit, because it all goes hand in hand, of toxins in our environment. Our environment is another leading cause for disease because of all the toxicity in the foods, the processed foods, all the chemicals in the foods. Those are toxins that are extremely bad for our body, which actually affects our thyroid, affects everything about our body. And this is where another reason why we cannot digest our food right. These are reasons why we can't, our metabolism has stopped. This is why our children, our girls, are having such bad periods, menstrual cramps, you know, and all these crazy things going on at a younger age now because of all the toxins that are in the food. It's our bodies are rejecting it, but yet we still keep on consuming it. So eventually something's going to happen to it because it's trying to say, I'm not supposed to be in your body, but yet we're just going to keep consuming it. And it's not because we want to, it's we're unaware of these foods. How many of you have heard of GMOs? Anybody? I think just a few people. Most people don't know. Corn is one of the highest GMO foods. And that is, look up the toxins in the foods and everything. Now we're going to go into aspartame. Now who's all heard of this? Aspartame is mostly in diet foods, drinks, very toxic for your body. Extremely, as a matter of fact, they've been linked to cancer. So most people decide they want to go, oh, I'm just going to drink Diet Coke. You are better off drinking a fully loaded Coke before you are a diet anything. Because what they replace the sugar with is aspartame, which is very lethal, toxic, cancer-causing, oh my gosh, diabetes. Leading cause of diabetes would be aspartame. Yeah, most people do not realize that. So when you have diabetes, I switch to diet stuff. So you're getting more of the same by switching to that. So this is a big article. It talks about the diseases, with some of the symptoms of being toxic from aspartame. Aspartame's in your sugar-free gum. It's in everything sugar-free. Now, I am going to talk a little bit about the high fructose corn syrup versus regular cane sugar. Here's where diabetes has went on the rise because they have genetically modified our sugar and put high fructose corn syrup in everything. You look at anything processed or anything sugary or anything, it's got it in there. It's genetically modified and it's foreign to our bodies. Our body does not know it's getting sugar in it because it doesn't recognize high fructose corn syrup. So when they took out the regular cane sugar out of food and replaced it with high fructose corn syrup, then when you take in regular cane sugar, your body will recognize it and say, okay, I've had enough. With high fructose corn syrup, your body does not recognize it. So this is where diabetes is coming into becoming a plague in this country. It's because of the high fructose corn syrup that has plagued our bodies, and we just don't know when to shut it off. Our bodies does not think that it's getting sugar, when it actually is genetically modified sugar. They did it to save cost. They switched it over, I think it was in the 80s or early 90s is when they switched it completely over to the high fructose corn syrup versus cane sugar. So if you have to have sugar, I would say you're better off having regular cane sugar than, I would say not to have natural sugar, but if you have to have sugar in something, real sugar, not the processed sugar, and look for things on your label with high fructose corn syrup. Those are, and that's why you want to steer away from processed foods. That is because of all these chemicals that are in there. That, you have the environment, you have chemtrails that are causing all types of environmental effects in the air. We digest that. Anybody heard of chemtrails before? No? Look that up. It's chemical, the chemtrails. There's contrails from airplanes, and there's chemtrails, and they are spraying this stuff in the air, and they're trying to, they're saying it's to modify the weather or what have you, but it's causing lots more damage than it is good in our environment. It goes onto your plants, it's killing off the bees. I mean, there's so many things killing off our bees right now. That's why everybody's having hard times with their gardens because of the bee pollen. They're not pollinating because they're dying off. There's a lot of factors that are going on that we just don't know as, people living on this earth. We just don't realize because we're so used to the way things are. You just get kind of used to it. You don't realize it. It's kind of like a slow progress of these things happening to us. And now it's just starting to boil over because all of these things are coming, the effects of them are coming to head pretty much now. So I'm going to go into, this is extremely important because we put deodorant on and the aluminum in there is extremely toxic for our bodies. It's causing breast cancer in women. There's lots of studies coming out with the aluminum that is placed in deodorants. So I went on a research and, you can buy natural deodorants in the store, but they don't work very well. You have to apply it a couple times, a day, especially after a gym workout. And I was like, all right, there's got to be something better I can do besides, after a workout, kind of having to go straight out to the car, not talk to anybody because I'm afraid I smell like BO or something. So I did a lot of research on natural things and created my own deodorant. And now I sell my own deodorant that is total natural. It works amazing. And I apply it, my work salon has a unisex deodorant. It's total natural. You apply it a dime size in the morning time, you're good for the rest of the day. Now, I know people don't like the sweatiness or whatever, sweating and stuff like that. I mean, naturally, we're supposed to sweat because that helps get rid of toxins in our body. There is an ingredient in there, it's called arrowroot, that kind of absorbs the sweating, that you would, but you're still sweating to release toxins. So, but this is an article, and you can read more onto the aluminum that is going into our deodorants and stuff that are causing, now linked to breast cancer and thyroid issues, among other things. So I put a few of these things that can help you naturally, like matcha green tea. And I did put an article on there, the great benefits of green tea. Green tea is amazing, and it helps with your antioxidants. The problem is, our bodies have been beat down so much that our immune systems are, everybody's getting sick more often with colds and flus and everything else because our immune systems are so compromised. And so it can't fight off the flus and colds. But I personally, I have not been sick in almost 3 years, and it's because I built up my immune system and I took out all the toxins in my body. And I mean, I can be around people with colds and everything else and not catch, not even a cough. And it's just because I built up my immune system. My husband used to have chronic bronchitis 2 or 3 times a year. And it's because he had ulcerative colitis, which they gave him steroids for that, which turns off your immune system. So he was totally, his immune system was totally compromised. So we built back up his immune system. And he has not had bronchitis in probably a year and a half. Been about a year and a half since he's had bronchitis. And that was a major step for him. And not that he's not completely healed yet. I mean, it takes time. It's not, nothing's a miracle working anything. It's, it took 40-something years for his body to be diseased for that long. I think he got sick, ulcerative colitis in his 20s. So he's 51. So it took all those years to where he's had that issue. It's going to take probably about a good 10 years to get him up to his colon and everything else back to a normal state because of all the damage that's been done to it. So it is a progress, and but you know what? You can change one thing each month, each week, set goals to change something to get you back into health, where you can fight these diseases. I mean, because our bodies were created to heal itself. It really is. And it just cannot because of all the compromise that's gone on with the toxins and even in the foods and everything, that our bodies cannot fight off these diseases and just the common cold. I mean, it's getting more aggressive because our bodies are getting more compromised and more compromised. We're keeping colds longer now. I mean, you just see it even in our children. Thank God our children, their immune systems are pretty strong when they're young, and their digestive systems as young, can fight off these things. However, it does cause, this is where the generational stuff comes in, because it causes it 20s, 30s, 40s for them. So, because our children do have good immune systems for the most part. But if you start them young with eating right and putting the right foods in them, you will see the total difference between them and their friend who's eating, what do we give them? Pizza or roll-ups, microwave this, we're zapping their food, putting all these, and I know it's simple and it's easy and it's to go, but there's other ways that, the nut butter tastes just like peanut butter, but you're making it yourself. Very simple. The kids love it. You can make your own strawberry jam. Just so simple. Just smash up, mix up some strawberries and put some agave nectar in there, and it tastes just like strawberry jam. So these are, and it has nothing processed, nothing, that the kids, they would love it. So, my grandkids, I tested that on them. So they're my little guinea pigs that I test those type of things out. Make your own fruit roll-ups. Very simple to make for kids. Make your own granola for them. Those are simple things that you can do that kids like. I know it's not pizza and, all that stuff. However, what I am saying as far as we all can't eat perfect all the time. It's just impossible. We all have events to go to. We do enjoy a piece of pizza every so often. the thing is, those should be treats and an every so often thing, but we've made it an everyday thing in our lives. And it's just because of this fast-paced society. And that is killing us. And so we just kind of back up a little bit and do more home stuff and make your meals for the week if you have to, you know, and make your kids' meals for, you know, at least a couple of days out. And this helps you with your, you know, when you're working and that sort of thing. It kind of helps. It keeps the kids balanced out and, you know, good nutritional snacks, those sort of things. Make your, if you've got babies, make your own baby food, you know, because you don't want to know what's in formula, and you don't want to know what's in there. But if you do your research on what's in formula, you would be shocked. So I put this in here, the benefits of like, my favorite is the matcha green tea, and I'm going to be giving away some stuff. So matcha green tea is the finest of all the green teas. It's a powder, and you can either do it warm or cold. I do both. And like mine is in cold, and I put a little bit of stevia in there, and it's like a, you know, cold green tea, or you can have it hot green tea. Either way, it works great. She's having some right now, and but this is another high antioxidant, great benefits. You know, you can do simple things like this to build your immune system. Green tea is one of them. I'm sold on that. Another one, and I know this one is it's either you like it or you don't, and that's the apple cider vinegar, but it has massive benefits. And you put it, how I make it is I make a big jug of it, and I put like 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and I squeeze fresh lemon in there. And it kind of tastes like a lemonade without sugar. So you can put as much lemon, but it alkalines your stomach, and it alkalines your body. And we need to live in an alkaline body because it helps fight off these, a lot of these things, these viruses. It helps with acid reflux. If you got heartburn, it will take it away naturally. Because you think about what Tums does to your stomach, it neutralizes your stomach acid. So you can't digest anything. So if you're a Tums eater, try this instead of that, and you'll see a total difference. But this has great benefits. Look up, you can research and do more research on the apple cider. Bragg's apple cider vinegar is the only one. Don't go to the Walmart and buy a big thing of just apple cider vinegar. It's not the same. Bragg's apple cider vinegar has not been processed. You can get it at the grocery store. It's probably for a big thing. It's about $3 or $4. Not expensive at all. And it'll last you forever if you're only doing, you know, a couple of tablespoons. The next thing I put in here to find out how toxic you really are. This is like a questionnaire, and this will tell you, it links it to diseases and, you know, things that are going on in your body. And so this questionnaire, you know, you guys can fill it out, and it kind of shows you what is going on in your body and where you're toxic, mainly toxic at. And then what I did put my price list and everything as far as if you wanted a one-on-one consulting. If this is kind of just a breakdown. I do have a program for people that are income-based, and so we will go off your income, and I will charge you according to your income. So I do have something for everyone, because everyone needs help in this area. It's just not for people that can afford a nutritionist. It's for everyone that needs to know and help. Everybody needs help in this area. So I have put it to where if you're lower income, that I have a program for you as well. And that's to help everybody, because no one really knows what's going on. And, you wonder why, you're working out, you're doing the treadmill every day, you're doing all these things, your metabolism has pretty much been shot. And how you do that is you detox your body and you clean up your foods, and you will start noticing a huge difference. You'll start noticing that you'll start losing weight again, and you just keep it off. So if you just keep your body clean, is the whole thing, is keeping it as clean as possible. We can't keep it 100% clean because, what we're up against as far as, walking outside, the environment. Things in your home, your carpet, if you have carpet, it releases gases, into your home that are extremely unhealthy for you. These are things, paint, lead in the paint on your ceiling. So we have heavy metals in our body. We have all these things that are playing, havoc on our system. So there's a little things that you can do just to fight off those things, and that's, the biggest one is keeping your body clean, learn how to eat right, and putting the right foods in your body. And, it's kind of sad that we all need some sort of vitamin and mineral supplement because we're not getting it in our food source anymore. You're not getting it what your body is required in your vegetables anymore because they have depleted it out of our soils with all the chemtrails and everything else is in our soils. So it's been taken out of our, the minerals that we're supposed to be having for our plants are not there any longer. So we have all become vitamin and mineral deficient. And those are leading causes of disease as well. It all contributes. And I'm trying to think, there was something else I just had on my mind that I wanted to share with you. Does anybody have any questions?
You talk about detox. What is your brain like?
Well, I use, and here's my thing about any product that I have. I'm not one of those that are name brand loyal. I want the best what is for my clients. So I have kind of like if I want, let's say I want a vitamin mineral supplement, I go through one company for detox. He's actually my mentor, and he's a naturopathic doctor out of Texas. And he solely focuses on detoxing. And he has spent his whole career coming up with a detox system. It's called the Green Body Detox. And this is actually his questionnaire for detoxing from Global Healing Center. His name is Dr. Group. And he has spent his whole life figuring out the best and easiest detox system that gives you a full body detox. Because people do a colon cleanse, they'll do even a liver cleanse, but forget about, most of us have parasites, and most of us carry heavy metals. Those heavy metals are affecting our children with ADD, ADHD. It's affecting, you're sluggish, you're tired. These are heavy metals. Parasites are another one. I'm not saying, you have these major things that, but we all have parasites from drinking the water. It's touching a pet. You can pick up a parasite anywhere, and it slows your body down. I mean, we are hosts to parasites. So cleaning out parasites once a year is a great thing to do. I do it once a year. I do that once a year. I do a colon liver cleanse more than I do the heavy metal. I do heavy metal once a year, parasite once a year, but the colon and liver, because those are the two most important body that lead to toxic disease and everything. I do those every 6 months. So twice a year I do those too. But that keeps your body going, that keeps your immune system up. It doesn't keep your body bogged down, you know, with all these different toxins and stuff. So it just keeps you clean to where your body can fight off, you know, the common cold, you know, all those types of things. So yeah. And I can give you more information on that if you like that. Any other questions?
I have a question, yes. Okay, so, just recently, probably like 2 months ago, I discovered that I liked avocados, and I was eating one like almost once a day in like a salad, and I'm looking at your chart, and really it's just protein and vegetables, like low starch, okay? But all of a sudden, it seemed like I was just gaining weight like really quickly.
Well, avocado is a fat. However, I mean, it's a good fat.
Right.
But you can still gain weight off of it if you're eating too much of it. I mean, maybe cut down to a half avocado, because avocado are extremely good for you.
Okay.
But maybe cut down to a half of one, or maybe not every day.
Every day, right?
Yeah.
Right, because it was like candy, you know?
Yeah, I know, and it's
Right.
great.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like making a guacamole. All I do is cut up avocado, fresh tomatoes, and some lime juice, smash it up, and I have an avocado and put it in my salad.
Yeah.
And mix it all together. And, I mean, it makes a great salad. And I even had, you know, we always hear, you know, eat more beans, good for you, protein. And that is true, but it's not a full protein. So they're saying, oh, replace this with eat more beans to replace. It's a half a protein. So it's not a full protein. So you would need another protein source to make it a full protein. So people don't realize that with beans, that they think that they're, you know, eating beans, that they're getting a full protein where they're not, they're only getting half the protein. So you got to supplement it with another protein, which would be avocado or something like that, because it has high protein.
Okay.
Avocado does. So yeah, so you can do like a, you know, a little bit of that with your beans or whatever. But I want to bring up my girl. I call her my girl because she has been. When I put this plan in place for her, when she came in to see me, she followed it to a T. And but most people, a lot of people can't do that. We have to take it one thing at a time because it depends on your environment. You know, that's a big culture shock to just go change everything cold turkey like she did. And I'm going to have her come up, and I want her to tell her.
My name's Lori Lewis, and Kim's right. Everything she said is true. And I'm going to read what I wrote for her testimony. When I met Penny Fetzer, I felt very unhealthy. I told her she was my last hope, and I had been describing myself, as she said, as bloated road kill. I was sluggish, no energy. I felt like I had no metabolism, nothing would digest. I had stiff, achy joints. I woke up every morning feeling more like I was 90 instead of 48 years old. I was taking medication daily for acid reflux, and many days a double dose. I had to take allergy medicine every single day, or I would very easily develop a sinus infection that would likely turn into bronchitis. I take no medication now. I had put on so much weight, I was ready to move on to a new clothes size, and I couldn't allow myself to live that way any longer. I got a hold of Kimmy and I said, it's time to get serious. I have to admit I was doubtful because I had tried quite a few different plans, fad diets on my own, and maybe I would lose a few pounds, but it always ended up coming back, and it never changed the way I felt. Plus more weight would come back with it. And when Kimmy went to work on me, she said she was serious too. She devised a meal plan for me, and I followed it to the letter. She taught me the importance and significance of detoxing my body. I did exactly as she told me to do, and I began to see amazing results almost immediately. And when I wrote this, it had been 8 weeks since I let Kenny go to work on me, and I could not believe the difference it had made in my life. I felt 100% better. Being a hygienist, I thought my diet was somewhat adequate, but now I'm awake. I don't feel like I need to go straight to bed as soon as I get out of work. I'm eating properly and everything digests. I haven't had to take any medication, anything for acid reflux or even my allergy medicine. I'm now living a gluten-free lifestyle and I'm loving how I feel. Breads and pastas were my weaknesses and now I don't even crave them. I feel as if my body was completely full of poisonous inflammation and I cannot see myself ever turning back. I feel free and I finally found something I believe in. I'm so thankful I trusted in Kenny. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that I had, well, at that time I had lost 23 pounds and 40 inches, but I've lost almost 30 pounds and over 50 inches. When I gain weight, I gain it all over, but when I lost weight, I lost it all over too. 50-something inches from everywhere. And I can't imagine how much better I feel when I stop making excuses to find time to put exercise in my life. Yes, I have accomplished this without hitting the gym. And can you tell me about that? Yes. I tried Weight Watchers. I tried Herbalife. No, I did not try Herbalife, but I was this close to being talked into buying about $400 worth of Herbalife products, and I'm so glad I didn't do that. I tried ACE, I tried Vistalis, I tried Healthy Trim, all failures. So, I feel amazing.
So before we,
Oh, I wanted to say one more thing.
yes.
When I first started doing this, it was an investment in me. It consumed my entire life. That's all I ever had time to do was think of my nutrition, my health. It was a new daily job for me because I work full time, I help take care of my mother, and I have a 15-year-old that keeps me busy, and a husband. And I had to tell them no quite a few times. This is about me, and it was time to invest in myself, and I'm so glad I did it. Now it all comes natural. I don't even have to think about it. It's second nature. So you can do it.
And it does come, once you get an understanding of, okay, I get it, and I know what to stay away from, then it comes very simple. You don't even think about it. Now, do we all go and splurge every so often? Yes, we all do. We're not perfect eaters. However, you do have the tools to maintain, so if you do go and eat something, you shouldn't, you know that's okay, that's an every so often thing to where, it's for most people, it's every week or even every day. For a lot of people, their jobs, they just swing into McDonald's, all these fast food joints, or they go pick up a Diet Coke, all these things that now you know that, okay, I can start by just eliminating some of these things out of my diet and start changing one thing at a time. So that's why I have many clients that I just, we start out with one thing at a time in their diet, and we work on that, and then when they're okay with that, we go to the next thing. So sometimes it's a progress, and sometimes it's, I'll get people that, like Lori, that are just totally fed up, and they're just willing to change right then and there, and change everything. So, you have two different mindsets, and it's okay, either mindset. It really is okay, because I'm your life coach, I'm your mother, I'm your best, because I'll get on to you. That's where I was like, she went on vacation, said, make sure you're making the right choices, on vacation, just to keep that mental, and she, you know, and I really don't have to do that with her because she's already there. But some, I do have to make sure, I text them all the time, make sure, you know, you're on the right track today, and, you know, and I make sure I call them, I encourage them, you know, because people need that. They need that inspiration, they need that encouragement, especially, I mean, most of us crave sugar, and it's because, like I was talking about the high fructose corn syrup and regular sugar, it's because our bodies do not recognize we're having sugar, so we're constantly craving all these sweet things, constantly. And that's because our body doesn't know it's getting sugar in it. So that's where diabetes and everything's on the rise. So if we start there, I mean, that is a simple thing to cut out, is, you know, sugar first. And that is as addicting as smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. That's how addicting sugar is. And most of us know that, you know, because we crave it. So, yeah.
She talked about sugar, she talked about high fructose corn syrup, she talked about aspartame. I've done hundreds of hours of research on this subject. Start with aspartame. Aspartame is basically wood alcohol. Okay? Molecule in it, and once it is digested in your body, its flash point is 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Your body temperature is over 98 degrees. Once that flashes off in your body, it turns into formaldehyde. So you're basically embalming your body with that aspartame. It goes by many names: sucralose, a lot of your artificial sweeteners. It's all in the packet there. But it basically embalms your body. It destroys the good flora in your digestive system, and also it affects your brain chemistry. It has a very negative impact. There's a lot of studies out there that have shown that it causes brain cancer. Okay? So you want to stay away from that stuff. Avoid it like the plague, because it is a plague. All right? High fructose corn syrup. The way high fructose corn syrup is manufactured is in order to get the sugars out of the corn kernel, because when they pick the corn kernels are hard. Can't fall. You have sweet corn, they're soft, they're still pliable. But once they ripen to the point where the farmers pick this stuff in the fall, those kernels are hard to rock. Okay? In order to get the sugars out of that corn kernel, they use mercury in the processing. So there's mercury in high fructose corn syrup. That is a neurotoxin in your brain. Okay? The second thing high fructose corn syrup does is it does not elicit a pancreatic response. In other words, your body won't produce insulin. It fools your body. So when you've normally taken sugar, if you take in too much sugar, your body will tell you. You'll end up with a headache, you won't feel good. It's your body's way of telling you, it's giving you a little alarm, it's telling you, hey, there's a problem, don't do too much of that anymore. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get rid of it. High fructose corn syrup does not do that. It doesn't. You can drink Cokes. You ever notice someone who drinks a lot, and I used to drink a lot of pop. I drink 4 or 5 bottles, 20-ounce bottles of pop. Okay? Just drink it like water. Okay? Over time, that's gonna cause a lot of problems in your body because of the fructose corn syrup.
Inflammation is the biggest.
Inflammation causes a lot more mucus to be produced in your body. And also, one other thing I want to tell you is do not ever drink carbonated beverages with your meals. The carbonation of beverages reduces the stomach acid in your body. And therefore, you won't properly digest your food. When you get undigested food into your upper colon, what happens is that's where all your nutrients and stuff are absorbed into your body. You get undigested food into the digestive tract, you end up with celiac disease, Crohn's disease, and those types of things. You end up having solid microscopic food passing through that barrier and it causes lesions, causes all kinds of problems.
What about somebody that drinks a lot of beer?
Same thing.
Same thing.
If you do some research on all your major manufacturers of beer today, do some research on what the ingredients are in those. There's a lot of chemicals in beer now, including high fructose corn syrup. There's all kinds of dyes and different things that are in there that are not good for you. Now now drinking beer, if you have a beer every once in a while, I drink a beer every once in a while, but I try to find craft brewed beers that use organic sources. The reason I don't drink a lot of beer, I have one every once in a while, is because it does have gluten in it. But they do make some gluten-free beers now too. So they make them out of rice instead of wheat and barley and those sorts of things. So there are healthy alternatives to just about everything out there that you enjoy. But the name brand beers, I stay away from them pretty much. I don't drink any of that stuff because it's
Well, name brand beers are expensive as it is, but probably the gluten-free are probably more expensive. But, you know, I'm not the beer drinker.
What I found was, for instance, for a 6-pack of the type of beer that I drink every once in a while, I may drink a 6-pack a whole year. That's how little I drink. I used to drink a lot, but I don't drink anymore. I used to be a drummer in a rock and roll band, so I used to drink beer every weekend. So, not knowing all those years that that was not healthy for me, that was causing my ulcerative colitis to be worse. I was injured by a pharmaceutical drug. I had severe cystic acne, and see, I had what a lot of teenagers go through, but it wasn't because it may have been partially because of hormonal changes in the body, but one of the problems is I had a gluten intolerance, and it manifests through the skin. Okay, I had psoriasis, all kinds of problems.
In fact, he does, I can tell if he's eating gluten because his face will break out. And I was like, you ate gluten out on the road today because he travels a lot.
I travel a lot. So I try to eat salads as much as I can, but sometimes it just isn't. I'm on the go. I can't sit in the car while I'm driving and get salad. So sometimes I do. Every once in a while I'll eat some gluten when I know I should. The other thing I'll tell you is that when you clean your body up and you eat really healthy, when you do eat something that you shouldn't eat, your body is going to react in a really bad way. It's gonna.
The vinegar drink that she was talking about, and she's kind of schooled me a little bit, and I've changed my eating habits, and when I go and eat a hamburger somewhere, I am miserable. I get so bloated and stomach cramps, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, it's because we're so used to feeling like that, and when you clean up your body, and you start feeling really good, and you notice the difference, you'll go, whoa, I can't believe I used to feel like that all the time.
I never noticed.
Yeah, because you don't. Your body is so used to it. And that's what I'm saying. Just like, sugar. Most people do not know cancer feeds on the sugar. And when someone has cancer, how they find out if they have cancer, they shoot a sugar into their in the dye into their body, and wherever that sugar goes to is where the cancer's at.
Cancer loves sugar, and if you put sugar in your body, and they put the dyes and stuff in there, they put a saline solution with sugar in it with a dye, and when they inject that into the body through the arteries, then they take a scan of the body, and it will show up bright
Where
that dye goes, and it'll go right to the cancer.
But they don't tell you anything about not to have sugar or anything like that. So if you have loved ones that are perhaps even, facing that awful God disease right now, I would definitely say get them off of all sugars completely. Even natural sugars, fruit you know, it's a natural fructose, that's natural sugar. 1 or 2 fruit a day is perfectly fine, but you can still have too much fruit, and because of the fructose in it. So 1 to 2 fruit a day is perfectly fine. So, you know, we need that fruit, but it'll give you your natural sugar and replace, you know, the other sugars. And just like, you know, people want to know what is the difference between Trivia and Stevia. They're from the same plant. However, Trivia is processed totally different than Stevia, and it turns into wood alcohol. So that's the difference between the two. They're from the same plant, but processed totally different. So that is something to keep in mind when you're doing natural sugars or the, you know, the substitute sugars. Stevia is the only one. Sweet and low, all of them, full of aspartame, full of it. As a matter of fact, you can put that sweet and low and stuff out, and it'll kill ants.
Ants won't, actually, the ants won't go near it.
No, they won't go near it.
They won't go near it.
They
They know it's not. Very good. One other thing is, she talked about baby formula. Okay, there's no more than 12 vitamins and minerals in any baby formula on the market.
Our dogs eat better than our babies.
Dog food has 35 to 40 minerals and vitamins in the food. Dr. Wallach discovered this when he was a veterinarian. And he applied what he learned as a veterinarian to human patients, and he found it got better. So we are all vitamin and mineral deficient. Our soils are depleted. They don't have anything in them. Typically, the farms put 3 things in the soil: NPK. Okay? And those will make most plants grow pretty well. Okay? If you talk to your grandparents or great-grandparents or heard stories about them back when they lived, they heated their house with wood, typically, and wood-burning stoves. And what they did was, when they burned that wood, when that wood burned down, it created ash. And you'll find that you talk to elderly people that had wood in their house, they would take that wood ash and they'll sprinkle it on their garden, their soil, and till it in. And those minerals got replaced back in the soil. And that's why back then, they didn't have cancers and stuff. Like, people were fairly healthy because they were getting all the minerals and vitamins they needed. Today, it's not the case. We have something. But anyways, I wanted to add those few things.
So now the fun part. Now that you got your brain overloaded with information. So I'm just going to go around and just have someone. So we'll start out. I'll do. This is Dr. Wallach's DVD. He talks about the importance of detoxing. So Dr. Group, I'm sorry. You just want to pick one?
I picked my own name.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
That works. Now the next one is I was going to put this together. Okay. This one is for, now this is sencha green tea. This is, you know, the loose leaf green tea. And this is a, it's like a portable steeper. So if you're on the go, you can just put your, you know, a few leaves in there, and or if you're traveling and you need to stop, you stop in some place and get some hot water. This will fit right in there, and you can steep your tea and go. So while you're going, so. No, sorry. Okay. The next one is my deodorant that has become, I mean, I actually can't keep it in stock because it's becoming really popular, so.
I use it and it works.
Yeah, it does work. No, it actually, if you do get white on there, it just. Oh, well, there you go. It's funny. Okay, next, we're gonna do the, this is the matcha green tea, and let's see. And so you can, I can have some instructions, I'll be going that for that if you wanna, Okay, so the next one, this is a steeper mug. It's a nice ceramic steeper mug. So,
Robin.
Oh, you did.
oh,
Thank you. Very nice.
you're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
The next one, this is like it has acuberry. It's a nice, like drink. They come in sticks and you just put it in your water. It has great high antioxidants. This is one of my favorite drink. You know, if I'm on the go, I put it in my bottle of water or whatever. So this is for a box of this. Let's see,
Where do you get that?
I get this through a company that, Young Jeopardy is what it's called, and, that's where I get this. So if you were interested in that, or, you know, anything like that, I can put it here. Now we're going to do, this is, it's a frozen, you can make, you know, your frozen drinks, like you can freeze your acuberry, saxing into this and have a frozen drink, and it makes it all for you, so. And, okay, this one is, now I drink out of a glass straw because the plastic has BPA that leaches through, which is another chemical. I didn't really go into that, but it's in a lot of your plastics. If you look at all the plastics made, if you try to find BPA-free plastic, now as far as water is concerned, the only one that I have found that is BPA-free, and that is Fiji water. That's the only one that I know so far that has, let's see. And this is a glass straw. It's a kit. It's a whole kit.
That's me.
Oh, there you go. And the straw, I get these from a lady here in Michigan. She hand makes them. And she makes all different kinds. And these have a lifetime guarantee that they will not break. And they do break, you can send it, you can give it back to me and I'll send it back to her. But she's a Michigan small business, and I like to support small businesses as much as possible. So I do get my straws through her, and I do have some different ones over there, these as well. But these are fun. The kids love them. You know, they won't break, and if you drop, if it's, you know, dishwasher, whatever, they're fine. And this has a little brush that goes with it to clean it and make sure it's on. And you can carry it with you, like we're in a restaurant. Instead of the real plastic straw, just stick mine.
Yeah, I have a big thermal mugs, and this would be better than straws.
Okay. No, I'm gonna do it because there's one more person. Michael. So, Michael, you get to choose.
See.
Which one? Or the matcha? The green tea? That way I want let's see. Did everybody get?
She didn't put her name in.
We'll figure out something. What do you want?
Are you gonna give a consultation?
Yes, that, what happened to that? Oh, that's the,
You say one thing, no.
okay, so, everybody can put their name back in, and we're gonna, I was like, oh yeah, glad you mentioned that.
You just want to tag their.
Oh, yeah, duh.
And just recollect.
Yeah, let me recollect them, and we will do, sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me.
I think I gave you mine.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Let me get them all folded back in here. I am glad I made a phone. It's not the chemicals or anything.
Be saying.
Oh, and I'm gonna do it.
What are you giving? I didn't even hear, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is for our free one-on-one consultation.
Thank you.
And so, we can set that up, and we can either do that, since you guys live, Plymouth. I mean, we can either set it up on a weekend where she comes down, or we can do it over the phone, but I really like the one-on-one. Okay, then we'll set that up and get that set up for you guys to do that, so. Is there any other questions? You want to pick out something on it? Yes.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Because in the morning, I make myself, I drink my breakfast, and I know you're not supposed to mix fruits and veggies. I put in kale, spinach, banana.
I mean, banana is actually neutral. Banana is the only fruit that is neutral to, that you can mix in because it's not acid. See, it's just the acid.
What about pear? I'll put half a pear in there too.
I mean, as long as it's just a little bit, I probably wouldn't mix, mainly just keep it one or the other. I mean, a little bit's not gonna be, it's, you know, it's when you're eating a lot of it combined. So I would try to stick to that, but, or, I mean, if you do have a pear, you know, just a little less than people normally would. So.
The reason for that is your body, whatever comes into your stomach, it will produce certain enzymes and recognize which food it is and produce certain enzymes. And if you have, if you're mixing things, what happens is whatever it identifies first, it will create a bunch of those enzymes, and then the other stuff, it won't break down. And that's why you want to mix your stuff.
So like strawberries on your salad.
Strawberries, I mean, you can have a little bit. I mean, it's just, we overwhelm our systems with, you know, all the combination of stuff. I mean, you're pretty safe with berries because they're not so, I'm talking more of oranges, pineapple, because they're so citrusy.
They have a lot of acid.
Those should
pH
be
levels
eaten
high.
by themselves, opposed to berries, I think are fine. I mean, I mix my berries. So it's more the acidy type of fruits that should be eaten by themselves. Grapefruit, oranges, that sort of thing. Any other questions? So I thank everybody for coming today, and I hope you learned a lot. And, you know, if you've got any questions, you've got my number, give me a call. I am on Facebook, and you can find me on Facebook. World Nutrition Consultants on Facebook. I post a lot of stuff on there, so there you can, you know, ask. I can, you know, Kimmy Fetzer. is my name on Facebook as well, so I'm always posting things on there that I think are helpful. And, you know, if you've got other questions or anything, I hope I helped you in some way or another and your help. And that was my goal. Thank you.